Hi guys, Matt Lemke here with your Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. Today we're going to take a look at the Shadowrun 6th World Beginner Box. And I'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. So, I had the pleasure of interviewing Jason Hardy about Shadowrun 6th World at Origins Game Fair, and he gave me a copy of the beginner box. So thank you, Jason. And here we are to take a look at the contents. It's a nice box. Let's see, how much does it weigh? Maybe 2.5 pounds-ish. And inside we got all kinds of stuff. We'll start with the dice. And we'll get to the cards in a minute. Gotta roll the dice, right? Nice purpley color. They're pretty balanced. Let's see. 3 6s. At least 3 3s, 4 3s, some 4s and a 5 and a 2. One more time. Not as good that time, but good enough. Alright, so I'll zoom in here a little bit so we can look at some stuff. One more last chance. Celebrate the 30th anniversary rule set, new edition. It's easier to pick up. Rule system is built around gaining advantages and taking risks. No surprise there. Faster gameplay, which is always a good thing, in my opinion, especially as we move more and more into a digital world. More pre-generated characters is a plus. And a read this first portion, which talks a lot about the injustices and things of the 6th world and the different parts of playing Shadowrun as an RPG. And then we have the Instant Guide to the 6th World. And this is basically an overview of the different concepts of Shadowrun. For example, everything in Shadowrun has a price. That's a major theme. Magic is detrimental to your mind in many instances of the game. Corporations play a very large part of this world. Let's see, so I can never remember how far in the future Shadowrun is set. I want to say it's 60 years. So you take today's date and add 60 to it if I've got the number correctly. Somebody will comment, I'm sure, on that and put that, I can verify that in the comments. There's augmentations in the game. There's life in the shadows of paying with your blood, risking it all to, you know, be richer or be more powerful, whatever is motivating your character or the NPC enemies of yours. And then there's a brief timeline. This is by no means complete, but it's a pretty good list of the major events that happen in Shadowrun history. And then in back, it lists, you have an overview on the top 10 large corporations that kind of dominate the Shadowrun corporate infrastructure / political universe. Then the next thing we have is some different profiles, which we'll get to these in a second. We're going to take a look at the quick start rules. There are also, I'll note right now, 2 more Shadowrun profiles that you can download for free. I'm pretty sure one is a rigger. So here is a map. This poster comes with the beginner box. So here's a map. It's really 2 maps. Here's a stuffer shack, and then over here you have the Tacoma docks for your map. And on the other side you have a Seattle Metroplex poster / map of, well, Seattle, of course. So let me put that aside. Okay, so the quick start rules. They are a whopping, and I mean a whopping, they're not even numbered. Really? Like 20-ish pages. So You've got your introduction. You've got the rhythm of the game master, the basics, everything you probably already understand if you're familiar with Shadowrun. But if you're new to the game system, it's basically the same for every type of role-playing game. And then it goes over the dice mechanics, it goes over characters, it goes over the meta type and the attributes and how they work, of course. Skills, getting into the transaction. Now, one thing that is not in here, well, special rules, specifically about, gaining and using edge, one of the most important concepts of the game, in my opinion. How the dice pool works, or how the combat process works. Grabbing the dice, rolling the dice, distributing your edge, and things of that nature. And then we move into movement, weapons characteristics, and how they work. A little bit of stuff on the matrix, which I was actually not expecting to see in the beginner box. And then we have rigging, which is very popular within. Oh, of course, we can't skip out on hacking with the matrix, right? And magic. You kind of cannot play Shadowrun without some, wow, what a great piece of art. Without some kind of reference or influence of magic or use of magic. You can play an all rigger game, or you can play an all, shooting type of game, but you really lose out on part of the motifs in the genre and the flavor of Shadowrun without magic. And then so that you have, your different aspects of the spell, adjusting the spell, dealing with drain, etc. And then in the very back, last few pages, starts like a game master section with reference tables. There's a few pages of that, and reference tables for the different profiles, which is what we're going to look at in a second. But first, we're going to really briefly take a look at the Battle Royale adventure that comes in the box set. And if I remember correctly, the box set's only $25, so you're getting quite a bit. So you have your introduction, you have before the run, running the game, all the different hooks and stuff for being behind the scenes. I have not read this adventure yet, and even if I did, I wouldn't want to spoil it for people who are looking to buy the box set. So you've got all this stuff about cutting through combat. Scene 3 is Tell It To Me Straight. It says you push into the hub, gain activity inside the warehouse, approaching circled up gangers. So you're getting into it ready for your fight there. And then you have the cast of characters, which is like your NPCs. Wow, there's a lot of NPCs in this. And then you have setting of the Stuffer Shack and the Tacoma Docks. And then they have an overview of the Seattle Metroplex. What I am not certain of here, you could. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, so now we have the Troll Street Samurai, who is a Shadowrunner, of course, and here's his dossier. So all the dossiers are probably going to be set up the same. Read this first portion of your characters over here, the initiative, actions, edge, and points, and how it breaks down for you. And then you have the different numbered sections here for. It tells you where everything's at. So 1, your character sheet, it's basically the whole sheet. 2, your personal data. And it goes over it and gives you an overview. Every character sheet, I believe, is going to do this on the initial page. And then on the second page, you have your profile, your background, your contacts, your tactics, role-playing tips, how to play this character more efficiently. And then they have the example run on meeting Mr. Johnson, planning and legwork, and another example run for doing the job and getting paid. So, and then on the back, you have all the tables you need for Rude's, not character, but the tools you need to play Rude effectively, specialized for him. And then we have Frostburn, who is a combat mage. And again, I bet you're going to see the same exact thing. You're going to see the character sheet all laid out like that. Everything's numbered. Then you're going to have the profile, background information, the vital contacts, preferred tactics, role-playing tips, the example runs, getting paid, and the tables on the back. So Frostburn was a made-for-Trid underdog success story. She and her family were forced out of the then orc underground by dwarfs, intent on reclaiming their property. Interesting story. And then we have you, who is a covert elf specialist / face. Once again, you have the different tests. And one of the things I actually like about this with the tests is it gives you the formula in the beginner box. It breaks it down, and almost everybody knows how to do a formula by the time they can role play. So Yu's background is, once upon a time, he was a core kid, from Canton Confederation, living a life of relative abundance. He always assumed he'd end up a wage slave, like his parents, until the second Matrix crash erased his family's identities and sent the corp they worked for into bankruptcy. Mere months later, Yu's parents were killed by Black Chrysanthemum Triad members demanding protection fees they couldn't pay. His vital contacts, preferred tactics, example runs, and of course the game tables. And then we have the Dwarf Decker. Looks like a child. His name is Zipfile. Again, you see everything here. He is young. He's 23 years old. His background is he grew up in an urban brawl hotspot, part of Azania's Pretoria Wit Wasteland. Wit Wasteland. Wow, I got Wasteland on my mind. Wit Watersland. Metroplex. As a young girl, she loved excitement, chaos, and adrenaline junkie. The Rush came out. So you have her vital contacts there, preferred tactics, an example run again, and gameplay tables. One last thing comes in the beginner box. So if you like the beginner box and you're going to Gen Con, they're going to have them there. They're also going to have the core rulebook. So here we have, let's zoom in so these are like maybe readable. We have, let's see here, tool cards. Are these all tool cards? Yep, these are all tool cards. Thought that was dirt. So you have the Walther Palm Pistol, Ares Fire 75, the Predator, Uzis, shotguns, tasers, blades, clubs, armor. I like the idea of having the cards so you can change your character out from job to job. I do like it a lot. Vehicles. You have combat drone here with all the different stats, of course. We have decryption here for a program. Lots of programs, actually. Cyber deck. Spells. Oh, nice. Spell cards. Very cool. I love spell cards. They make my life so much easier as a GM and as a player. And then we have, these are tool cards, so I bet these are NPCs, basically, which is really good. I'm glad they did this. So let's read. Erica Hoffman. Human female government operative Erica Hoffman has been working for the UCAS government since before she could walk. Her politician parents groomed her for political success from birth. Ragers, Big Ben. Let's read Rusted Stilettos because it sounds cool. So, Orc Gangers, Twisted Rusted Stilettos have spent too much time near Glow City, site of nuclear reactor meltdown. The ones who've survived are terrifyingly deformed and deadly. Nice. The Claw. Ancients, which are elf gangers. Vicious elves who use the speed of their racing bikes to strike with Viper-like speed and lethality. So, and torque. So inside of the beginner box, you get, what, 12 dice I think it was? You get a good bit of dice. You get all these tool cards. You get 2 overviews. You get 4 profile dossiers for characters. You get the adventure, quick start rules, the maps and poster, and again the guide to the 6th world. Now, what do I think about Shadowrun 6th Worlds beginner box? So, it's got a good price point of $25. It has everything you need to play at least one game. I think that you can, as a GM, if you have any kind of experience, have the ability to go ahead and make further adventures from this. If you're a newer GM, I'm not so sure that it's set up for you to be able to do that in a without a little bit of work. But you have tool cards. You can change. You can move stats around and things like that. So you do have all the tools you need to continue adventuring beyond the beginner's box for $25 to break into the game and learn how to play the game. It is not as big as the core rule book, but for a starting price point, it's well worth it. The box is solid. It's got high gloss. The art is wonderful. The production content, it is exactly what it's supposed to be. It is a beginner box. It's short. It's simple enough to wet your whistle and get you motivated to play more Shadowrun 6th World. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.
Hi, guys. Meet the Nibbles, who's gonna go down. She just decided not to go down my back, so we'll do this for her so she's comfy. Thanks for watching my video, and I appreciate it. Please hit the like button and share it if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, there's always Twitter and the Facebook thingy, and soon I have a newsletter coming. That'll be down there or in the link below. And my kitty cat loves that idea. So anyway, there was one more thing. Oh yeah, subscribe. Be a part of my community, our community. Let's make it grow together. See you guys at a con somewhere, or a local store, or if I'm driving through the country, maybe a game club. I don't know, you're not going to go knock down my camera. Bye, guys.